This will be our final walk and talk installment, at least before the big show. About 48 hours, I'll be landing in Cleveland. About 72, I'll be storming the showroom floor, looking for future treasures to Eddy's Cardboard Chaos collection. Thought I would take this time to sort of go over what I'm after, at least the main cards. I have my want list divided into three sections. I should probably bring some water with me when I do these walks. 3 sections. There's like primary wants, which is 4 cards, secondary, and tertiary. Tertiary stuff is kind of lower end set needs, dollar bins. You know, you're kind of getting lower on cash at that point. Kind of whatever catches your eye. Secondary is going to be stuff for my collections, like my knuckleball collection, my Glory of the Times collection, 56 Topps Hall of Famers, cool vintage, things like that. And then primary, I have 4 main things I'm going after. And I've told myself, until I have 2 of these, I can't shop from the rest of my list until I have 2 of the primary cards I'm after. So the first one I'm really confident I'll get. It's just a matter of who I'm going to get it from, because I've even done some pre-shopping, and I know I can afford it, and I know I want it, and I know who has some. So I might just crank this one out right away on Wednesday so I can say I've done it. So, and that is a Griffey auto. And it's more than a little embarrassing that I don't have one. I've had one at one point, but throughout the last, well, really since I got married and had kids, I made this habit of, whenever we were short for a bill, immediately sell the best couple cards I have and make up the difference. And that's what happened to my initial Griffey. And that card's worth about, probably about double of what it was when I had it, and probably about triple of what I got for it. But you can't live in the past, so I'm fine with that. I'm going to make it good now. And I promised myself probably 4 years ago to stop doing that. Since then, my collection's kind of recovered, but I don't have the collection I could have. And anyway, I've learned not to live in the past. But I'm going to get that Griffey auto, practically guaranteed. And I'll probably do that one, like I said, kind of right away, maybe immediately, maybe within an hour after charging the floor. Second card on my primary want list, 69 Topps Mickey Mantle. When you're a collector like me, everything's got to have a purpose. You're not just buying things randomly. And when I first became a baseball fan and card collector, my brother and my cousin were the only other people that even cared. And before I really had access to stats for retired players, or even really access to stats for current players, and before we had our Baseball Digest subscriptions and our baseball encyclopedias and all that stuff, there was really only 3 places we could get information. One was a newspaper, which only helped us with modern players. The other was This Week in Baseball, which is a really important part of my childhood and baseball fandom. But again, mostly talking about modern players. The third source for information, the backs of baseball cards. You might have already guessed. And we used to play this game where we would try to find, it wasn't necessarily a pack battle, but we'd like to see, okay, who's got a card with the highest, career home runs. And I mentioned a while ago, I really liked Darrell Evans when I was younger. And that's because he would win me that little battle every once in a while. Because, in the 87, 88, 89, he was winding down his career and was among the active leaders. So that's why I like Darrell Evans. But anyway, looking at the back of baseball cards, I developed not an obsession, but an interest in cards that have players' full career stats. And if you want to have a represented card collection, which I do, you probably need one vintage mantle, probably. And what better one for me to get? And the 69 has his full career stats. He didn't play in 69. When 68 ended, the Yankees thought he was probably going to play. He showed up in spring training, said, "Nah, I'm good." And by then, Topps had already issued the 69 Topps mantle with his full career stats. So I'm really excited about getting that one. And there's plenty out there. Look on eBay right now. 30 listings, whatever. But find one in my price point would probably be PSA 2 or 3. And of course, eye appeal is more important than anything. It really is. So there you go. You got the Griffey and the mantle. The third card is the 49 leaf John Wagner, who most of you know as Honus or Honus Wagner. More people are saying Honus, which is probably correct, but I've used Honus so long, I'm just going to stick with it. And if I'm wrong, well, that's fine. I can deal with that. So why this card? Again, everything's got to have a purpose. For me, and my budget, I just love that he's taking first off, I like the color scheme. I like the design. I only have like 2 other cards in this set. And secondly, it's just amusing to me that he's taken the dip, because it belies the notion that he didn't want his card on, he didn't want his T206 released because he didn't want to promote smoking or tobacco use for children. And it was really probably about something else, maybe money, who knows. But I always liked this John Wagner as a very old man. He coached the Pirates for like 30 years. Ridiculous amount of time. Right up until his dying day, I think, just about. And anyway, it tells a story. It's a good-looking card. It's definitely different. It's a card of a GOAT shortstop. And I would love to have that on my wall and be able to tell that story to anybody that would be willing to listen. The last card in the top tier of the primary want list. About, let's see, I've been on YouTube five years, maybe 3.5 years ago. I got watching so many videos of like great vintage cards. Like, you know what? I want to start collecting vintage. And prior to that, I was almost exclusively a TTMer and occasional pack ripper. And when I look at how different I am now, it's crazy. But what I did when I decided I wanted some vintage cards, I just made a list of every set that I thought was like kind of classic. It would be cool to have a card from this set. And I think I wrote down T206 first because it popped in my brain first. The second one I wrote down was 1933 DeLong. And I went and looked at the checklist and immediately saw which card I wanted. And that is the Gordon Mickey Cochran from that 33 DeLong set. Again, card you can tell a story with. Mickey Mantle was named after Mickey Cochran because Mickey's dad was a huge Mickey Cochran fan. And years later, Mickey was commenting that he's glad his dad didn't know that Mickey Cochran's real name was Gordon. Gordon Mantle, he's the Mick. He'll always be the Mick. So that should do it. Now, if I get these two and start shopping from my secondary list, of course I could go back. Oh, somebody put one of these out. And shop that way. I know I'll get the Griffey. I expect to get the Mantle. When I was in AC 2 years ago, I did not see a single Wagner. Meanwhile, people are doing Strongsville videos a couple months ago, and there's 4 of them. So I don't know what to make of this. I know it's not rare, but it's not common either. The Cochran is probably the hardest of the 4. I don't remember really seeing any on people's show footage. But then again, I don't see everything. So who knows? That one might remain on the list for a while. But that's part of the hunt, part of the journey. I'm really excited. A couple days, like I said. Can't come fast enough. Can't come fast enough. I hope I make it. If you're going, I can't wait to see you there. If you're staying at home, I know the feeling. Don't worry about it. You'll survive. And until next time, remember, we don't count subscribers. We count friends.